Hello. All right. I'm just gonna get us started and recommend you take a sip of water with me because we could all use more hydration. I'll give you a minute to go get some water if you don't have it, or take some sips. Okay. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking a pause with me for presence, which really just means being here and letting ourselves just be, because we're always told to be doing. So no shame if you haven't taken any breaks today. It's really hard to remember to pause, and so that's why I'm doing this for all of us. So I feel like standing again today, but you are welcome to sit for this practice. You're welcome to move around, stand, whatever you want. And let's just start by taking 3 deep cleansing or grounded breaths. So 1, to bring all the scattered parts of ourselves back and return to this immediate sphere. Another breath to drop us from our head and the thinking down to our heart. And you're welcome to obviously take breaths in between while I'm talking, but it helps me to touch in, if not just focus the breath in that area, so whatever works for you. And our 3rd deep intentional breath from our heart into our root or gut or umbilical area or womb space. And all the way down into our feet or whatever part of us is touching the ground if we want. And yeah, let's literally drop in by metaphorically gathering more of what might be feeling distracting or pulling us away from these few minutes that are ours to pause. So let's gather any of that and hold it and throw it down. Just the visceral motion, even if it seems silly, even if you're unsure about it, just that motion really helps me to embody that intention. And we could try the same thing with the tension or energy or excitement in our bodies, the restlessness that I feel a lot. And we could shrug up our shoulders and maybe squeeze our hands and wiggle our toes and then drop it down. And this one feels really good to me, so let's do it a few more times. I look really funny. Drop it. And let's do it twice more at your own pace. Yeah, and let's just flow with that. I'm feeling some more swinging motions, kind of whooshing from front to back, sort of windshield wipering all that's around me, all that I've come into contact with today, not negating it, but just letting myself have some space from it, reclaiming this little space around me that's always changing. As I'm doing this one from side to side, lifting my knees or legs, ankles just a little so I'm not stiff and hurting my spine. Yeah. And whatever is feeling intuitive right now, some swaying, some touch and pressure on your own skin. Remembering that you have the body to come back to that's always supporting you, that's always breathing for you, beating, flowing. And when I remember this, it becomes more of just a meaningless touch. I guess it's never meaningless, but I feel that within me, that gratitude and reverence for this vessel that I showed up on this earth with. Myself a little shoulder and back rub. Maybe the neck and ears, behind the ears. Sometimes it surprises me how tender, or just how much I feel just by touching my own skin, like how much more that brings me into the present, just laying my hands on myself. Such a simple act. Cupping my face just feels really nurturing too. And one that feels easy to avoid, wearing glasses, but it's not that hard to take them off, is covering my eyes, resting the base of my palm, the heel of my palm, into my eye sockets, and leaning back into that darkness. This is such a good reset from using the eyes all day, staring at screens. Just feels so good to create a little portal of darkness and depth during the day. And slowly peeling the hands away. It can feel kind of bright and abrupt, especially if you're in a lit room or the sun is shining on you. Maybe looking at what's close to you first, maybe your hands. The yoga teacher I follow always has you look into your hands, ponder the lines and the ridges, and then zooming out and taking in more of what's around you. Welcome, Dusty. She knew where my attention went. It's funny, some days this time goes really fast, and today it feels like it's going slow. It feels spacious, so just gonna give us another minute to tune into whatever movements our body might be asking for, any places of tension that might want to be tapped or held or stretched. Remembering that it's enough to just show up, to pay attention. You could even do nothing. I'm gonna face some different areas of the room too. It's easy, especially when you're watching or leading, like to just stare at the screen, but something I want to remind folks, I want to remember to remind folks more is like, you don't have to look at the screen, especially if we're in part of the practice or I'm talking. I know it's helpful as like a visual aid, but like you can always turn to the side and like your default could be away from the screen. A teacher once invited me to do that, and that was so liberating. Like I can stare out the window. In school, we're often taught we're scolded, like especially in like elementary school and stuff, like if we're not looking at the teacher up front, like we're not paying attention. But that's not always the case. Sometimes that's helpful and we need that and we deserve permission for that. But I'm going to be mindful that my voice might trail if I do that too much. So. Just looking around, taking it all in with the intention of neutrality, that I don't need to fix any of this in this moment, that I don't need to change anything. If I do notice something that I want to change, that could always happen later, or I could sit with it and see if that really needs to be done, if that's really the most important thing. And not judging it yourself for that, which is such a practice because, yeah, it's our instinct, it's our conditioning, and it's all okay. But we get to choose whether we want to follow it. So I'm gonna get my deck and pull a card for us before we go, but feel free to, keep rolling it out, moving, or you could sit in stillness and take this time to, especially if you've been moving a lot, like recenter before we come to a close. And so if this is your first time here, I am reading from the sample early copy of my first tarot deck, Embodied Ecosystems, which just finished being printed and will soon be shipping over here to be in our hands. So yeah, just find your place, keep doing your thing, and we'll just give us a little takeaway message. The card that popped out immediately, and I am someone who really believes in and listens to those flying cards, is the Three of Cups. Try to get it to focus. Yes. In my deck, it's called the Synergy of Fluidity. And it brings us into this landscape. Wish I could help you see it better, but let's see if this works better. But yeah, we're invited into a landscape of the horizon of a water body and mostly the depths beneath that, the unseen beneath the surface. But at the top there are three mouths, three ephemeral forms, inviting us into communion, conversation, connection, and a respect of space and of shared space and flow between the entities. And Three of Cups, traditionally is three people like dancing merrily together. And this definitely is homage to that, because from that communion, that connection, that space shared between, and especially in like that visceral space of being in a body of water or honoring our fluid states and the changes within each of us, especially when we're in community together, when we're coexisting in a space, what can come of that, the unity and shared heart and intention that can ripple out from there, that can be deepened together in ways that we couldn't or aren't as easy sometimes to access on our own. And so Three of Cups is really, the synergy of fluidity is an homage to the beauty of this shared connections. Even, if you're watching this as a recording, it's like just the intention of like me showing up to the space because I knew that some folks might come live or some folks might see the recording, like that's bettering me in a way, and hopefully you're able to take something away from this that supports you, even if it's just one little thing. So yeah, those ripple effects are really evident here, and yeah, that accountability that supports one another in community, not having to do it all alone, not having to remember everything by yourself. That's the beauty of the Three of Cups. And yeah, the three being the Trinity, And even if it's just whether it's a one-to-one connection or a group connection, like that flow between the triangle is a very sound structure that is the base shape of a hexagon, like the honeycomb hive structure. And yeah, there's a nice flow that comes there, and self, other, and spirit, the energy between. So yeah, there's a lot to say there, but I'll leave you with the sort of affirmation intention that comes with each card in this deck. I wish I had time to go through all the prompts and the invitation, but I'll leave you with this. I practice interrelation from a place of belonging and consideration. And the invitation there is to, spend some time reflecting on how you feel in group dynamics, in community and collaboration. There can be many feelings, and it can be circumstantial and situational, but reflect on some of the times it supported you, some of the times it's not felt the best, and what you would want different, what's needed for you in your connections and community. And just considering and honoring that and letting it be and seeking out what you need. So remembering also that you belong regardless of how you feel in those situations. So, and valuing that you deserve those connections and communal coexistings that reinforce your knowing and your deservingness of that sense of belonging. So I leave you with that. Thank you for being here, and feel free to share this. If you enjoyed this, I will be doing more of this in the Remembership, which is something that I am preparing and launching very soon. So there's a waitlist for it right now. You can get it and see more in this little QR code up here or the website below. So thanks for being here. Be well. Take care.